for a while. So I moved to the United States. I was 16 years old. And when we lived in Iran, which is where we migrated from, I moved here with my family. When we moved here in Iran, we would be considered, say, middle class, like living a comfortable life and everything else. And my parents just kind of sold their entire life and they brought all of their life savings to the United States. The minute we arrived, we were immediately below poverty line because of
Mm.
that exchange, right? So it didn't really mean anything if it was their entire life savings. We ended up in a tiny little place and all of us kind of living in a room. And I think that was a really pivotal time in my life because not only because that was my first experience of scarcity, if you would, of
Mhm.
like really being afraid of are we going to make it? What's going to happen? But at the same time, I was thrown into high school 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks. The jet lag, I think, was still there. Into high school, they evaluated all of my paperwork and the classes that I'd taken. And they were like, you also get to skip a year. So here I am, 16 years old, senior in high school, and barely speak a word of English. I'm already not fitting in because the way I look, what my name looks like, what I dress like, and then add on top of it all the other components. I also think as much of the struggle as it was also such an important time in who I ended up becoming for so many reasons. And one of them being that I learned that there was nothing wrong with sink or swim in that situation because I had to learn the language, communicate. I had to get out of the city we were in. We were sort of in the central California area I was not a fan of. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to go big city. I want to do big things. And that really pushed me to pick up English fairly quickly. I think I'm doing okay. I ended up going to Berkeley and get my doctorate and I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I think partly also because I had to learn how to make money. I had my first business when I was 16 when I first moved here. So it was really instrumental in everything that I teach and who I am today.